The mastermind of the Greens, Otto's hidden betrayal of Alicent. What if I told you that the most dangerous person in Alicent Hightower's life was not Rhaenyra, not Daemon, not even the dragons themselves, but the man who raised her, the man who whispered ambition into her ear while simultaneously tightening the chains around her neck? Welcome back to Westeros Throne, where today we are tearing apart the perfectly pressed doublet of Otto Hightower to reveal the calculating puppet master underneath. But before we dive into this delicious betrayal, smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell, because trust me, you do not want to miss what is coming next on this channel. We are serving up Game of Thrones content hotter than wildfire, and you need to be here for it. Now, let us talk about Otto Hightower, the Hand of the King, the Father of the Year nominee, the man who makes Littlefinger look like an amateur hour community theater villain. Otto did not just play the Game of Thrones, he invented half the rulebook, laminated it, and then conveniently forgot to give his daughter a copy. And here is the kicker. Everything Alicent suffered, every impossible choice she had to make, every sleepless night worrying about her children's lives, all of it traces back to the ambitious schemes of dear old dad. Let's rewind to where this whole mess started. Picture this. King Viserys, barely cold on one side of the bed after losing his wife Emma. And who does Otto send to comfort the grieving king? His own teenage daughter. Not a maester, not a septa, not literally anyone else in the entire Red Keep. Nope, he dressed up Alicent in her mother's dress, which is a psychological power move that deserves its own documentary, and sent her into the lion's den with instructions to read to the king and look pretty. This is not parenting. This is chess, and Alicent was a pawn Otto was willing to sacrifice for a shot at the throne. Think about the audacity here for just a second. Otto saw his daughter not as a person with dreams, hopes, or autonomy, but as a political asset with a womb. He weaponized her kindness, her compassion, her genuine care for others, and turned those beautiful qualities into tools for his own advancement. And the most twisted part? He probably convinced himself he was doing it for her benefit, for the family, for the realm. That is the Otto Hightower special, betrayal wrapped in the language of duty. But here is where it gets even more sinister. Otto did not just push Alicent toward Viserys and call it a day. No. He spent years, literally years, conditioning her to believe that her worth was tied to her ability to produce male heirs and secure power for House Hightower. Every conversation, every piece of advice, every seemingly paternal moment was actually an investment in his own political future. Alicent was not his daughter in those moments. She was his long-term stock portfolio, and he was waiting for the dividends to roll in. And roll in they did. The moment Alicent gave birth to Aegon, Otto's eyes probably lit up like a kid on his name day. Finally, a legitimate male heir with Targaryen blood who could challenge Rhaenyra's claim. Never mind that Viserys had already named Rhaenyra his heir. Never mind that the entire realm had bent the knee to her. Otto saw an opportunity, and he was going to exploit it, even if it meant throwing his daughter into a civil war that would tear the kingdom apart. Now let us talk about the really insidious part of Otto's betrayal, the way he framed everything as being for Alicent's own good. He convinced her that Rhaenyra was a threat, not just to Aegon's claim, but to her children's very lives. He planted seeds of paranoia and fear, watering them with half-truths and political manipulation until Alicent genuinely believed that it was kill or be killed. And you know what the tragedy is? He might have been right about the danger, but only because he created it in the first place. Otto manufactured the conflict, then sold Alicent the weapons to fight it, all while positioning himself as her loyal advisor. But wait, there is more, because Otto's betrayal was not just about pushing Alicent into a corner. It was also about controlling every aspect of her life when she got there. As Hand of the King, he had access to everything. The small council, the king's ear, the political machinations of the realm. And what did he do with that power? He used it to ensure that Alicent remained dependent on him. Every decision she made had to go through him. Every alliance she tried to build, he had to approve. He did not want a strong, independent queen. He wanted a figurehead he could manipulate from the shadows. And let us not forget how Otto treated Alicent compared to how he treated literally everyone else. With other lords and ladies, he was all smooth diplomacy and careful negotiation. But with Alicent, it was orders disguised as suggestions, manipulation disguised as guidance, control disguised as love. He knew exactly which emotional buttons to push because he installed them himself over years of conditioning. That is not fatherhood, that is programming. Here is another delicious layer to this betrayal cake. When Otto got fired as Hand of the King the first time, was it because he was looking out for Alicent's interests? Absolutely not. Viserys removed him because everyone could see that Otto was using his position to advance his own family's claim to the throne. He was so obvious about his ambitions that even Viserys, who could not spot a conspiracy if it was tattooed on his face, noticed what was happening. And what did Otto do when he got removed? Did he apologize to Alicent for putting her in that position? Did he take responsibility for making her life infinitely more complicated? Of course not. He probably blamed it on Rhaenyra, on Viserys' weakness, on anyone. But the ultimate betrayal, the piece de resistance of Otto's manipulation, was how he positioned Alicent after Viserys died. In those crucial hours and days following the king's death, Otto did not ask Alicent what she wanted. He did not give her time to grieve or process or think about the consequences. He activated Operation Aegon, his king, like he had been waiting his entire life for this moment, which he absolutely had, and he steamrolled right over any doubts or hesitations Alicent might have had. He had already made all the arrangements, already secured all the alliances, already planned out every move. Alicent was just there to rubber stamp his decisions and look queenly while doing it. And here's what really gets me about this whole situation. Alicent actually loved her father. She trusted him. She believed that everything he did was out of love and duty and honor. Even when she started to see the cracks in his facade, even when she began to realize that maybe his advice was not always in her best interest, she still defended him. She still believed in him. That is the cruelest part of Otto's betrayal. It was never just political. It was personal. It was a father exploiting his daughter's love and loyalty for his own gain. That is the legacy of Otto Hightower. A kingdom in flames, a family destroyed, and a daughter who spent her entire life trying to please a man who only ever saw her as a means to an end. The mastermind of the Greens did not just betray Alicent once. He betrayed her every single day of her life, one manipulation at a time, until she could not even remember who she was before he told her who to be. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.